It's the Love of the Game podcast. I am your host, Mondre Allen. We back in the building. This is like episode 10. Like we moving now, bro. We moving now. I want to appreciate everybody that's hanging in there. Y'all already know, man. I think y'all understand that when it's up to me, like unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, this thing is not gonna start exactly at 8. Like I appreciate y'all hanging in. I wish I could say that we started at 8:05 on purpose and just say that, yeah, I was trying to pay homage to Huff and we're going to start at 8:05. That's not exactly how that went down. But you were waiting for a good cause. We're trying to help kids. We're trying to make sure we got everybody's film. Like we're trying to make sure we got highlights and you know, we're not talking about the same kids. No, we do not come on. This is not a fully rehearsed show. So I'm going to tell y'all right now that our special guest has no freaking idea what is about to happen. But if it makes them feel any better, neither do we. But no, man, I appreciate y'all. We got a good episode on tap today. A lot, like we actually got like basketball news to talk about, which is great. Like there are basketball things. But
Dre, I know we got basketball news. I don't think we can wait to the end to hit them about what's coming Sunday, man. There's some breaking news. I wish we had a breaking news button.
I don't know what noise to make. Is it like dun, 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 something like that? I don't know. Go ahead, Coach. Let's get to it. Go ahead, man. Are we going to announce it now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we got people tuned in. We're going to have to keep announcing through the show. That's what I think, man. You know,
I just want y'all to know that we are not taking days off, right? Like even though Bryce is flexing right now, like Bryce got championship trophies in the background, got jerseys in the background. Like Bryce got the Trust the Process shirt. Like Bryce is fully flexing on us right now. But we are 100% working, man. Like we're never gonna stop trying to give you guys the content that you want. So with that, Huff, go ahead, man. Hit him over the head, Huff. What we doing?
So Sunday we're gonna hit you twice. We're going to hit you twice Sunday. Once at 5 o'clock with our regular show, hour-long show, bam. We're going to hit you that. Special guest, Antoine Stroud on Sunday. Then we all know what drops Sunday at 9 o'clock, right? We all know what drops Sunday at 9 o'clock. It's the Last Dance. It's dropping at 9 o'clock on ESPN. So y'all going to be up late, about 11:05. The reaction show. We coming live to you with a reaction show of each episode. So,
hey, what this essentially means is we're going to be watching The Last Dance all together. Maybe not exactly together in the same room because social distancing and we obey the rules. But we're going to be watching it together as a family. So, as we're watching The Last Dance and we are remembering all the times that we drove to the basket and try to stick our tongue out and do layups underhand and smack our elbow and all that stuff, we're going to be tweeting at times in that show. But immediately after The Last Dance, you can join us right here and we're going to discuss it like a family. So,
man, one of our listeners just gave you something, Drake.
What's going on? Our comments going already?
Yeah, man. What is happening? Coming to get some sound effects, man.
Oh man, hey man, Sly always rolling with us, man. Sly, I appreciate you, bro. Hey man, I'm gonna have to gotta get some sound effects. I need some gunshot intro. Yeah. We gotta do that. But yeah, so immediately after The Last Dance, the first episode of The Last Dance, and immediately following every episode. So for 10 weeks, every Sunday night following The Last Dance, you'll be able to jump on the Love of the Game podcast and talk about it with us. Because why not? We family. You here, so we can. No doubt.
Hey, Mondre, I just had to drop this middle school 6th grade AAU a top 10 trophy on you real quick, just to let you know that Georgia man up. Y'all need to get y'all weight up. If we ever,
Yo.
I expect to see y'all at Boo Williams. I expect to see y'all at Orlando. You know what I'm saying?
Come
Get you one of them
on,
right
Bryce.
there.
Come
Get you
on,
one.
Bryce.
Look,
Hey,
Mike
well-
said you ain't gonna like him after this. Well, you ain't gonna like me after this podcast, my guy.
Man, he coming to connect, man.
So this is number one. Not only am I chasing Bryce when it comes to coaching in regards to middle school coaching, we no longer have middle school. Although I would love to, coaches, if there are any coaches out there who would love to join a great AAU program and be supported with everything that we have, come to us. We'll definitely go 22-4 and below. But I'm no longer coaching middle school. But I'm still chasing Bryce because I'm still trying to get to 17U where Bryce is at. And if by chance it ever happens and we pass you with the number of offers that we have, Bryce,
you're in good shape.
Look, Dave already in here, bro. Dave trying to let you know we are coming. Dave trying to let you know you don't want that smoke. Georgia man up is coming. Although we gotta bow down right now because the Georgia Canes, we ain't got nothing on the Georgia Canes right
now. My momentum is on the decline because of this virus situation. So I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest.
And I don't know if it's gonna be enough for us to catch you, but we're gonna try.
I'm living in the past right now, as you can see.
Hey, we all are at this point. But let's get to it. I want to thank everybody for coming and joining the show today. I appreciate everybody that's watching us live right now on YouTube. This show is actually being simulcast on Twitter as well. If you go to @Mondre you can check it out on Twitter. Bryce retweets it, Huff retweets it. So I believe you can go to any of our accounts on Twitter and you can check us out. Hey, Bryce, them trophies getting away with your bandwidth, dog. I don't see you. You ain't moving no more.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
But, I appreciate everybody who's watching it live. My SoundCloud listeners, man, I love you guys. Everybody that's tuned in and checking in from across the country on SoundCloud. I know that maybe you're busy, you're doing something, grading papers, or you're doing something else, and you listen to us on SoundCloud. But I appreciate you guys as well. All my international listeners, I appreciate you. So let's get to it. Bryce is here. Coach Huff is here. Our special guest. Coach, I've seen you on the side. I don't know your official title. You are everything TSF. Anybody ask me a TSF question, I always say you got to refer to Rob Johnson. Coach Rob Johnson on the line with us. What's up, B-Dog?
Man, appreciate it. Let's do it. What we got?
We're gonna have some fun, man.
Let's do it. Come on.
Let's get to. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Let's do a couple things that I think that's important. If for everybody that is listening to hear about the kids that we're gonna highlight on this show, we're gonna start our highlights on the show at roughly, let's say 8:30, before 8:45. So I'll give them to you early. We're going to highlight kids early because that's important. College coaches, if you're listening to this show right now, by 8:45, we're going to get into highlighting 2020 kids that are available to sign with you right now. Kids that have grades, kids that have stats, kids that come from good programs. We're going to highlight those kids by 8:45. But we are here outside of Middle Georgia Prep. I think you guys were the first prep program around that I heard about. Rob, just give us some background, man, on how you connected with the TSF program and what the program is about, how you guys came to be, all of that good stuff.
So I'm obviously there's a couple people up top, Josh and Jeremiah. So a lot of people are obviously familiar with them. But I was passing back and forth. You know, Atlanta is big but small at the same time. So you're always only one person away from knowing somebody. So I knew Josh in passing and kind of knew what the Skill Factory was doing as far as building towards, offering youth all the way to pro, and saw a gap, for prep and post grad, and just asked them if they had ever thought about it, and just at the time, it was good timing. They said, actually, we have thought about it. We just don't have anybody to kind of point it, but they would be interested in it. So I said, shit, I think I could do it just because, the roots here and, building a team and kind of knowing the landscape of being around, seeing it in the Northeast and kind of watching the structure, how it's ran there and having success at a couple of different spots. So figure why not bring it to a city like Atlanta, especially with the potential for the international stuff, just with the airport and talking to people from overseas and they like traveling through Atlanta, and basketball just kind of started going through Atlanta AAU wise and all of that. So just wanted to do something to bring it back here. Had a daughter here at the time and I was kind of away. So wanted to get back to Atlanta, and they, gave me that opportunity to see what we could do with it. And we've been doing it for 4 years and, kind of just build and add on every year just to max out. So it's been good. We got programs all the way from youth up to pro, obviously, but that gap, for middle school, high school, and prep post grad is a big gap that we needed to fill, just to connect the dots. And so that's kind of how we started.
So with the and I'm sorry, man, fellas, like I got a lot of questions about.
We let you run. I know you got a lot of questions.
With your obviously, if you brought the idea to them, like you had a lot of knowledge in that area, and ability to kind of help make things happen and get the job done. Why TSF? Why not another program? And I'm just throwing stuff out. Why not the Celtics or the Georgia Stars or some other AAU program or some other basketball entity that was already here in Atlanta? Why was it TSF that made it such a good fit?
Just, relationships. I think just like the vision that they had for me as well, giving me enough room to use my creativity to build a program. Those other programs have kind of been established and had their reputation already. And a lot of things were really more towards the AAU side, and prep was kind of a route that a lot of people didn't really know about, didn't have a lot of knowledge on, but I didn't want to compete with the Celtics and with the Stars. I wanted to help those kids during the high school year, kind of get on. So, we have kids from in every program. TSF isn't just a high school team, because I feel like Atlanta basketball is very territorial when it comes to, who's able to link with who and work out with who. And I wanted to kind of be a space to work with every program, every high school, because it's a need for kids who are overlooked or, or under recruited, especially in Atlanta, to get that gap year, that extra year, or, if they're not in a good situation for their high school to, be able to reclass and do it the right way, but still get that national exposure. And more than anything, just be ready for that next stage. Cause I feel like there's a gap between the high school game and what college actually is going to ask you to do and all the way to the pro level. So just with some of the rules and things that we put in place, just really teaching the game and getting these dudes ready, just to know what they're getting themselves into when they get to that, whatever spot it is, because it's not as smooth as they think it's going to be.
No doubt. I could go there. I'm not going to go there.
Show, man. What you?
Come on.
Well,
get it, make it spicy. Come on, what you want?
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. Because a lot of people think that, and I've heard this a lot. A lot of people think that I have issues with prep and post grad. And I don't. I just ask questions because I don't know. So I'm not asking questions to say that, this is a bad route or something like that, right? I'm asking questions because I genuinely don't know, and I have to understand.
I also think you ask questions because, unfortunately, and even for Rob's case, there are so many fly-by-night prep schools and post grads that pop up for a year, maybe two, and then they're gone, or they pop up and they take kids' money, parents' money, and nothing happens to get the kids better. If we look at TSF, we're not only talking about longevity, but we're talking about productivity of kids getting better And I don't have a skin in the fight with me. Me and Rob cool, but I'm not trying to sell TSF to anybody. But I know what I see in kids that go and how they get better. Whether it's a Matt Davis or Rico Hallman, or I can keep going down the line a list of kids that I saw in high school and I've seen at TSF. So there's my 2 cents.
So I'm gonna tell you what I normally say, right? I don't want to be fake, right? I want to tell you what I normally say. The prep and post grad market remind me so much of AAU that it scares the shit out of me, if I'm being honest. Because with AAU, a parent may be out of, a few $100s. Well, nowadays, man, I feel like Bryce, you and I may be the only ones still charging a few $100, because nowadays people are seeing.
How much is a few hundred?
Well, I'm gonna say, 600, 700, 800.
Okay, yeah, reasonable amount. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Where nowadays I feel like we're old news and ancient because nowadays people are paying 4 figures to play AAU basketball. But the dollar figures, right, is partially what scared me. And I don't want to say scare me. It's just it raised my antennas, because don't get me wrong, there are certain post grad and prep schools that are worth every single penny. When I looked into IMG and they were like $50,000, I don't even want to say that IMG is worth every single penny. They have a name and they certainly have a great campus, but like, man, like some of these post grad schools you're seeing 15,000, 20,000, 30,000. Get into how that works, man. Like what are some of the questions that are some of the things that somebody that's considering to make that type of investment into their child should be looking for in return? Right now, we all know that it's not just like AAU. It's not going to go like every parent wants it to go. Like, you're not just going to go prep and go high major. That's not how this works. It's not that type of guarantee. But what are some of the things that parents should be looking for out of this type of experience?
Just a spot with a track record. You got enough people to ask. You can ask former players, good or bad experiences, parents of those players, kind of just what they thought about it, how it went for them. You got to figure it out yourself. Basketball is a game played around the world, so it's a lot of people need the service. You want to get better, to have a chance to play college, to play pro, go D3, D2, just get an offer. So it's not a guarantee. We can guarantee that we have the things in place to help you get better, but the player has to kind of meet you halfway, and seeing how much input they're going to put into the situation. If they're going to be at practice early, stay late, the resources are there, the personnel is there. It's just a matter of how much you put in. And, we guarantee parents that we have things in place to help your child get better, at the game, understand the game, learn the game, be held accountable, but when the lights are on and you're between those lines, you still got to make open shots. You still got to make the right play. You still have to look the part. You still have to do it over and over and over again. And even then, you got to deal with the new climate of going against grad transfers and JUCO transfers, and coaches wanting quick results, so they don't want to build a freshman up. And if a freshman plays too well, he's going to transfer. If he doesn't play well enough, he's going to transfer. So now freshmen aren't as in high demand as they used to be. What's going to separate you? Are you learning the game? Are you able to step onto a floor and play 18 minutes and be productive, and learn how to deal with success, learn how to deal with failure? All of those things go into the process. Sometimes you go straight from high school, jump to the college level. The same person that recruited you, now he's holding you accountable for these things that you've never been held accountable about before. And you think the grass is greener on the other side because you see somebody else doing that. But really, you just weren't prepared to help that team at that time. Sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. But it's not just about what you can do on the floor. It's the in-between time. Are you a cancer in the locker room? If you have a bad game, is that turned to 2 or 3 bad games? Are you putting the work in to kind of, make that next game a game that you get over the hump again? Those are things that you can practice while you're in prep. If you're doing it in college, that 3-game slump might put you down on the depth chart and get you recruited over, you know? So it just,
Sure.
you might not know how to deal with that. And even if you get recruited over, you still have a whole off season to get your game back. And a lot of people don't want to go through that next wall because you're going to face the adversity. So I think the biggest thing we do is kind of give you a simulation of what it's going to look like and feel like. The product on the floor is one thing, but practice is hard, workouts are hard, conditioning is hard. You know, the schedule is hard. We do that on purpose. So when you go to the next level, it's not nothing you've never seen before. So that's really our goal, more than winning games and winning. You're going to be competitive if you have a competitive team, but it's about getting you ready when you go your separate route, what you want your career to look like. And your freshman year has a lot to do with that. So what's going to put you in best position to have an impact freshman year? So that's kind of the niche of the program in the first place.
I feel like just like with any good program that plays high level basketball, you watch them, and the first thing I realized from watching some of you guys and some of the games that you've been in was, damn, these games are really physical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a lot of kids who can't play at this level because the games are too hard. It's too physical for a lot of kids.
Yep.
What would you say to the kids who feel like, well, after my 4 years are over, I'm just going to go prep, and they kind of take it for granted that they're going to go prep or they're going to go post grad? What has been your experience with the eye opener for kids that they feel like that's a given, that's their plan?
The biggest thing is just assuming that a Division I offer is just going to be on the table just because you go prep. You know, these coaches, it's not the first time they ever seen you. They've been watching you probably since your sophomore year and evaluating you. Now, some kids, from age 16 to 19, you can get so much better if you continue to put that work in. So some kids are late bloomers. Some kids graduate early. Some kids are okay at 17, a little bit better at 18. By 19, 20, 21, it clicked for them, you know, and they kind of were in that awkward phase and they got a little stronger and they bounced, you know, started connecting and the coordination was there and they always had touch and they grew a couple inches and they go somewhere and they get stronger and they learn the game. And now one coach really, really likes them and fits them into their system and their situation and they flourish, but they have the confidence to deal with the good and the bad. You know, it's not just about the one side. So there's so many routes. I've had kids who went prep, didn't have Division I offers during prep, went junior college, led their team in scoring as freshmen, or, you know, and ended up going high major, even higher than they would have gone initially out of prep, just because they were seen in another light. Coaches are starting to really value older players. So if you can show that you have the IQ and the physicality of an older player, but yet you still have 3 or 4 years left, now it's the advantage is on your side. The game has changed. You can go to 3 different schools in 4 or 5 years if you want to at the Division I level, transferring, being a grad transfer, sitting out, graduating 3 years. There's different things that you can do, you know, to kind of make the game on your side too. Get you a college degree and a grad degree, and still in 4 years on full scholarship. It's different goals that dudes have, that what they want to do with the game. It's just a matter of kind of laying that plan out. And if Division I is your goal, then if it's your ultimate goal, you don't mind taking the JUCO route to get there, even if that means prep to JUCO. Had a kid, Nick Fleming. He went prep, redshirted at a JUCO.
He's at UNLV now.
JUCO's in Georgia. I couldn't get anybody D2s. I begged them. This kid can play. I promise you. JUCO's wouldn't take him. Redshirted, I think, at Highlands. Went to a couple different spots. Found a situation, worked for him, signed to UNLV. I've had kids like that go to VCU, Memphis, higher than they would have gone, but just because they are a little bit older and understand the game, at some point it clicks for them. So you kind of just betting on yourself to see when it's going to click. You're the same player that you always been, just some kids are better at 17, some kids are better at 21. It's just a matter of the patience that you have with your route. You know, so that's all prep is. And I just try to put those guys in situations to get better and take the stuff with them after they leave here to continue to get better on their own so they can take advantage of those opportunities.
So a great thing that you mentioned, Rob, is the fact that I think some people think you guys are competing against JUCO, but you're not. You just said a great point.
That was
Don't care. You don't care if that kid goes to you. He'll have to take another year to go to JUCO to get where he needs to go. And I think that's a great point that you brought up right there that people need to hear. You're not just out here trying to get a kid to come to you so he can go to the highest place he can go. You're just trying to help the kid to be better. And I think that's a
Huff lost his bandwidth. We got you back up. No, I think that was an amazing point. Like, and that's something that I didn't know. Going JUCO and then having a kid that redshirted as a JUCO, to me, having a kid that redshirts as a JUCO telling me that tells me when a kid has that much patience, he's getting some pretty good advice.
Right, 100%.
That also tells you how tough that kid is.
100%.
Yeah, it's a grind, but you gotta bet on yourself. You know, it's rare that most places the goal is to win games. The high school level, you want to win games. AAU, you want to win, get a college. JUCO, you want to win. NBA, college, you need to win. Prep is kind of one of those spots where player development really is the most important thing. Our success, when I recruit kids for the following year, I don't tell them what our record was the year before. We tell them where guys have gone and the success that they've had. That's kind of how we win. So it's not even a one-year process. They continue to come back in the off season, continue to get them better. I probably talk to, in a week's time, 35 to 40 kids easily, just at different spots that I place, whether they're checking in with me, whether I'm checking in with them, seeing how they're doing, watching box scores. You guys probably know what it's like to follow 12, 13 different schools that you got kids at, just checking on them. And if somebody's doing well, sometimes you hit them and tell them, keep doing what you're doing. If somebody's struggling, you do the same and say, look, you've been in the gym, do this, do that. Sometimes they just need to tap in. So some of the things that we didn't have access to, or if we did, just kind of didn't listen to, kind of put them in that position to understand you can tap back to where you came from, because the game doesn't leave you. A lot of times it's just confidence. And if the situation turns into a situation that you just outgrown or it's not for you anymore, then having guidance to find that next spot, but the ball don't stop. It's just a matter of if you're in a position to keep on going or not. And you have to have the toughness to get through one or two tough spots that might not be for you.
How do you guys evaluate like when you have a parent and a kid that is looking to go prep? How do you guys evaluate whether that kid is a good fit for your program?
It changes, I should say. It kind of evolves every year. My first year, I just wanted to fill a team that could be competitive with players who I thought were pretty good. But I knew if I put them in certain situations, at least they would be skilled enough to get to college at whatever level. And on the floor, whatever happens, kind of tailor your schedule accordingly. The next year, I wanted, that first year I didn't have size. So the next year I wanted size. So I had a whole year to recruit. So now I'm looking at the other teams that are really good and kind of seeing what they have to make them successful. I never I'm competitive on the floor, so I don't want to go out. And every now and then, you know how it is. Sometimes the team is just better than you. Nothing that you can do about it. They just physically outmatch you. Yeah. And I didn't like feeling that. So the following year, we had size, and I had my big signed to Texas Tech just recently. I had a forward who signed to San Diego State, another kid to Fresno State. I think I was 6'10", 6'7", 6'6", 6'6" in the lineup. Then the following year, I wanted some different guard play. So I got some smaller guards, Tony Johnson, Christian Wright, some guys that could really, I wanted to see what that felt like. And then this year, I really focused on character and getting kids. I figured it's not all about just having the most talented team. You got to enjoy coaching them. So at a certain point, if the talent is there, but you don't enjoy the group that you have, right? You want to kind of find a balance. And when you find I'm listening.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, when you find that balance, then it goes back to, okay, how can I find that balance, kind of put all four of them together and remain competitive? And then, it kind of sells itself when the guys that you've done well by, they'll tell their cousin or the freshman that was at their school or some other kid that they know, and coaches as well, college coaches, they'll send me guys, that they either can't take or they want to get back in a year's time or whatever the case is, just maintaining those relationships and giving them a spot that they could trust.
I've over the last probably year or two, maybe, I've connected with a number of prep schools, and Of course, prep schools usually have more talented guys than high schools, but I've always wondered, like, what as a prep school coach, and maybe you can't speak for all of them, of course, but what is the end game for you guys? Like, are you trying to get to a college job? Like, what is it? Because you're above high school, but
Right.
you're like coaching college kids. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, what is
Yep.
that? What is it?
That's a good question, and like I said, it kind of just changes however I feel. You know, my main thing, I had a 7-year-old, so I'm not in a hurry to kind of leave the city. And being young, I know that coaching is going to be something I'm able to do for a while. So just really kind of establishing and growing it, and we've done that with the growing the AAU side, and TSF is as an organization, I enjoy working with the guys that I work with. They sometimes this is a better option than going that college route. So I take a look at it, and I think at my core, I like to be able to not be confined in one spot to only help one team. I got kids that go to different teams and work with professional guys. I want to be able to go and work with them when I want to and need to, and have anybody I want in the gym in the off season, in the summertime. It's kind of 3 different seasons. You got your prep season, your NBA pre-draft season, and then your just off season, where it's everybody kind of in a mix. So I kind of like being able to work with all of the guys and build relationships. So then if I do get asked to, I've been asked to coach at a few colleges, but if the right situation comes about, they understand what I'm bringing to the table, opposed to just submit my resume and asking to get on and work my way up. That's not a bad route, but for me, that's not my passion is. My passion is just helping these dudes become the best pros they can be. And that's not just NBA, overseas too, but a lot of guys have pro talent and don't know how to maximize that, or don't have any guidance or help once they finish playing. And they kind of, they have a lot of game left, and they don't, continue to play just because they didn't have that support, so being there for them all the way through, and just trusting the process on my side too, on what's going to come back from it.
Yeah.
Rob, I grew up in Atlanta, and obviously run and shoot during my time was really big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people understand what a TSF gym looks like in the summertime, when those NBA guys, those college guys, your guys are all in there going head to head.
Yep.
That takes me back. I kind of want you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's I mean, not to be cliche, but it's levels. It's James Harden, Kemba Walker, Dennis Schroeder. The Hawks guys, they'll come through. There's a lot of pros, overseas guys, and off season, guys that come back in the off season, they'll come through. Then even the young guys, Brandon Boston, Ant Edwards, those dudes. So we get to see them bump up against pros. But what it does is it puts you in it puts pressure on you to play the game the right way, because you're playing with veterans. And obviously you might be a good high school kid or a good rookie or whatever the case is, but these guys can play too. So now it's just about playing the right way and putting yourself in that position, and it kind of sorts itself out. You see who's the superstars. You see why certain guys are max contract NBA dudes. You see why some guys are fringe NBA dudes. You see why some guys are overseas. You kind of get to see that. But at every level, the number one thing is competition. And in our gym, I think as a team, because it's not just me. I got a great team, a staff of coaches, that I learn and pick their brains from, and watch the game and try to study and get better every year, putting guys in a situation where they're going to compete, respect the game, play the right way. But the goal is to be better for your following season, just so you can maximize whatever your potential is.
I think our guy Evans Davis just said in our comments, it can build a player's confidence as well, especially, a guy who may be in high school or a guy who's in college. If they plan the right way and they play well, it can really build their confidence.
Right.
I kind of also want to talk about you guys' relationship with the NBA Academy. I mean, I think that is, if people don't know about it, I kind of want you to let them know about that relationship that you guys have with the NBA Academy.
Yeah. So, we do a lot of stuff on every level. So obviously the NBA's got an initiative to have academies around the world. I think they got Asia, Latin America, the Global Academy that's in Australia, Mexico, India, Africa, so just they're trying to find the young prospects that have a chance and put them in a situation kind of like prep where they're getting better, the academics will be taken care of, but they're able to be in a situation where they're training like pros, learning the game at the pro level. So by the time they become eligible and prospects, they're at least not behind on that side, So just with some of the connections that we had before this and the job that we've done with some NBA guys has strengthened our connection and people trust us, I guess, enough to, when they're launching something new, are inviting us in as a program that they want to build with and connect with in the States. And that's not just with NBA academies. We go overseas a couple times a year and play the top EuroLeague teams in the world. And once you go over there and realize how the game is played over there, and those kids have been pros since they were 15, 16, 17, it changes your perspective when you come back here and kind of, see where the game is, the standard of the game is at, and makes you work towards that. So it's fortunate that we're in the space to be respected by those teams, but it's because of some of the things that we've been able to do, the past few years on that side, just being competitive and having, a brand of basketball that they respect because, we like to say that we play the right way and teach the game the right way.
Rob, you really coach your guys now. I need people to understand you get after them now.
Oh yeah, yeah. And really like my philosophy on it, and that's something you'll definitely hear. Like, I could be cool. I'm young. I am of the culture, so I understand their side, but I also understand the other side. And was a college player myself, and wasn't prepared for the coaching when I got there. So now it's my job to make sure these guys are prepared. So I want to almost tell them what the coach is thinking. If you got a coach, if the assistant coach came on Wednesday and really loved you, and you played great, and you scored and did some things, and then on Friday the head coach comes and you choke up, you don't show up. I want to coach you to let you know what that coach is thinking. Kind of those coaches in the stands. If you don't show up or if you don't perform, I'm coaching you to tell you what an evaluator is thinking. There's language without actually saying things sometimes. If a coach comes and sees you and walks out in the middle of the third quarter, it's not because he's got something to do. It's because he's either seen enough and doesn't even feel like he needs to stay after and acknowledge that you were there because he's already crossed you off the list. And that could be from not running back on defense, not sliding over, walking out the game, going to sit at the end of the bench if you get subbed out, arguing in the middle of a game with your teammate and things like that. It could be the littlest things, how you react after you miss a shot, the decisions that you make, how you react off of mistakes, and even how you react off of success. I've seen people have good games and they think that they played great. Yeah, you scored 20 points, but did you do anything else? And did the coach come to the game and say, man, that's a kid I want as a part of my program? It's a certain way you got to carry yourself. So I kind of get on the other side and coach them as if I'm speaking for what they're not going to tell you, so that when it comes to a time when you are ready to be seen, you at least know the answers to that side of the test. And if you do that, then you don't have to have your best game for a coach to still like you. If he comes to see you, he's looking for certain things: motor, IQ, skill set, and then confidence. Do you have a bad first quarter and come back in the third, or a bad 3 quarters and come back in the fourth and get a big stop and get subbed out and still cheer for your teammates and or get foul trouble and still hustle out the game, or score 8 points in a row and you're dead tired, and if I sub you out, instead of you smacking your teeth and saying, coach, why are you taking me out, you're excited to give the person behind you a chance to get their look too, because you're coming back. It's a lot of things that go within the game that people skip over because it's not noticed, so just trying to tell them what it's going to look like from that side, what they're expecting you to do, and then just holding them to that standard. If they meet that standard, then, you're not going to hear much, but everybody's bar is a little bit different. So I'm not going to coach my top player the same as I coach my 15th guy, my youngest guy, whatever the case is. Their standard is going to be different, but I'm still going to push them the same to whatever their bar is. So some guys I got to be super hard on and light them up. Other guys, it's building their confidence and kind of explaining and walking through why certain things aren't it. Some guys you got to take away their playing time if that's the only thing they understand, and that if they're, showing up late to practice or missing shoot around, those are things that you're going to have to be prepared for at the next level. So if I take it away from you now, you'll know what it feels like. You get to the next level, and it's it's something that you've seen before.
No doubt. Guys, I got to jump in here for a second. As we talk about recruiting and college coaches, we got college coaches that are currently watching the show. Waiting. It is 8:45. Coaches, we're not going to keep you waiting. I feel like, part of our responsibility is to educate and also entertain, but is to be part of the basketball community. So with AAU being shut down, this is the part of our show that we're going to do every Thursday, every single Thursday, every single Sunday, every time we turn on these mics to get on this show. We're going to highlight players that we're counting on having a April live period or some sort of AAU this spring, this summer, to showcase their abilities and to get signed. So we got a good group of kids that we're going to highlight. And as soon as we're done, we'll get back to asking Coach Johnson like 5 million questions, because I got literally I got 3,500 more. Who wants to start, man?
State champion, you want to start? You want me to go?
I'll let you go first. I went first last time.
All right. So, of course, I got to highlight. I always got to highlight at least one Georgia Canes player. I got to.
As you should.
All right. So, first one I want to highlight, and we touched on bigs last week, right?
Yep.
4s and 5s mainly. So today, I kind of wanted to just highlight some point guards. And Kendall Leitney, formerly from Mill Creek High School, 6'2"-ish combo guard. He's probably close to 190, solid, pretty athletic guy. He is available. He ended up at the Rock School in Florida. And I'm going to see if I can pull up his stuff right now.
I like that kid. I liked him when I coached against him at Mill Creek. Athletic combo guard. Rebounds very well as a guard. Explosive.
Really powerful.
Yeah.
Really powerful and strong. Yeah.
When he played with us in July, I was extremely impressed with his ability to defend his position. It's going kind of slow. It's like you guys already said, super strong, powerful kid, athletic kid, very bouncy, shoots the ball pretty well. I think at the next level, he definitely transitions to a full-time legit point guard. Instead of that combo position you see right there, he just pins somebody's shot. So like I said, he can guard multiple positions. That doesn't really show it, but he's very capable of that. And he's a competitor too. He's a competitor. I really, really like this kid's game a whole lot. He's, as you can see, he sees the floor very well. But like I said, to me, like the things that I love about him is he defends, he's strong, he's coachable, and in transition, he's definitely going to show you something.
Talking about a kid that sits down on defense, man. That kid probably got a 40+ inch vertical too, man.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very under the radar kid, because from what I see, I mean, and what I've coached, he can play. All right. The last one, the other kid I had was Roman Sun. Can you guys see it?
Not yet. No, we don't see it yet. Right.
Okay. Let me
All right, it's coming up, I think.
Let me make sure I'm sharing the right thing. Let me stop it. I closed all my browsers down too. So,
Roman Sun.
I'm just kidding, man. I got nothing up.
Hey, Roman Sun, Bryce bringing out the champions, man. Bryce bringing out the champions.
He won't be the only one bringing out champions. I'll say that.
These dudes right here, both, like, if you have either one of these dudes in your program, you've got a winner. Like, you've got a player that.
Right now, we seeing you scroll Twitter, Bryce.
Yeah, I can't trying to find this tape. Here we go. Here, Since here, kids. Here's the other important thing. If we scroll on your timeline, and it's craziness.
You better pin that tweet. You better pin that highlight tweet.
Gotta pin that highlight. All right, go ahead, Bryce. We got it. Enlarge it.
Enlarge it.
But yeah, state champion winner. I've actually seen this kid, and I've seen him kind of coach against him for years since he was younger.
Yep.
He's been around for a while, and he's hungry. I feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got to be one of the best available 2020 point guards.
He's a defensive dog now. Like,
yeah, he's an ultimate competitor.
To me, Roman Son's one of the best available players. Period.
Period.
Right
yeah. I don't know what this is. I didn't really watch this highlight tape, but so I don't know what it is or who it is.
You talking about a kid, Roman Son, that state championship last year, lost in the state championship this year at Thero. We talk about this all the time. There were 2 players from Thero, with them being 2A. The reason why that they could play 7A schools or any classification is because of Robbie and Roman Son. When you got somebody inside and then you got a point guard on the outside that can match up against whoever you bring, it doesn't matter at what level, then your team could definitely play.
Those are my 2 guys. It's
Hey, that's high praise from Sylvester saying Roman Son is the best floor general in 2020. Not named Sharif Cooper.
Do we agree? Do we agree to that?
I'm not necessarily against that. When you talk about a floor general, a point guard,
Juwan Odom, hands down.
Floor general.
I guess I see Juwan Odom as more of a
floor
general.
Combo.
I know you. Floor general means like you got to go look at those assistants. Not just a facilitator though. I don't think I think we get caught up in that name, floor general, and just think that means somebody who has to facilitate. Now I just think that means somebody who leads their team. If you go watch, there are 2 kids, and there's no knock on Roman Son. I think he's a great floor general. But Juwan Odom, like Coach Rob said, and Sion James are the 2 guys that I saw in 2020. Most vocal kids I ever saw on the floor ever this whole year.
I agree with you, Huff, and I don't disagree with that point at all. And both of those kids are great. If anybody watches our podcast, go back to episode 1 and you'll see exactly what I think about Juwan Odom. Right, I was calling him one of, if not the best player in GHSA. So I love Juwan Odom, right? But when you talk about a leader, a floor like it. Both of those guys, Huff, to me that you name, have more talent around them than what Roman Son had when he took this team back to the state championship game this year. Right? We're talking about one of the best players was out since when did Robbie get hurt? Before Christmas, he got hurt in November, maybe, and they're back in the state championship game and didn't fold during that schedule. It's not like they lost a bunch of games and then went on a run in the state tournament when they got back to 2A competition. They were still battling. Like, they were still playing in all the big events and still, like, winning games, man. And to me, it was Roman Son circling the wagons, talking about the rest of those guys. And not to knock Rashawn Fredericks or anybody else on that team, or definitely not Coach Johnson. But to me, we talking about a kid that played on the same team, AAU team, with Youngblood and Stroud, and got a win over the Celtics. And the Celtics had Juwan Odom, Caleb Murphy, and Davion, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that he's better than those guys. I'm just saying, man, like, to me, he accounts for a lot of wins, man.
Are you talking about a lot of wins? Facilitator, just like somebody to get you on your offense. Is that what he means? Or you mean just like?
When I read that, I'm saying total floor general. Like, when I look at Roman Son, I'm talking about steals, I'm talking about rebounds, I'm talking about, like,
and to me, that's why I agree with Rob. You got to go look at those Odom stats.
If you're looking at it like that, hard to put anybody over him. Like,
the ability to keep your team in a game, regardless of who's in or who's out.
Juwan Odom.
Hands down.
Go look at his record for 4 years. Go look at his record for 4 years. No matter who they played, where they played, Juwan Odom.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm getting an argument over his greatness. Like I said, go to episode 1 and you'll see what I feel like about that kid. really
I
high.
like Roman's son though. I think he is a real point guard, like a throwback type of point guard. So he's the type of kid that you don't
Winner,
mind
man.
matching him up against anybody. He's tough, he's quick. And point guards got to have that chip on their shoulder, and he's got that. So nothing against him, but I think Dewan was probably the best floor general, in the state, just as far as he lifts his team up too. You know what I mean? Not saying anybody else doesn't, but compare him to the other top point guards in 2020, I think the difference is I just see him lifting his team up a little bit more than maybe other guys do.
What I will say though is I think if Kendall would have stayed, and this is no bias, I think if he would have stayed in the state, I think he would have been, and if he was put in the right positions, I think he would have been one of the top point guards in the state.
Got a chance, yeah.
Who's it? Oh, okay.
And it's crazy that we're
not the top, of course, but like I think he would have been like up there. Yeah.
We're talking about two kids. The crazy thing about this conversation is we're talking about two kids who probably don't have a D1 offer when we're talking about Roman's son and Kendall Latney versus a kid who I was arguing at the beginning of the season when it comes to DeJuan Odom should have been in the McDonald's All-American conversation.
Thanks.
Like, that's a really thin line if you think about it. Like, DeJuan Odom had his Xavier offer locked up and probably could have went to any school that he wanted. And we're talking about two kids that we feel like are in that conversation when it comes to being a floor general or a point guard that don't even have a Division I offer at that point. That's a really thin line between, like, you know what I mean? The haves and the have-nots. I guess I don't want to call it like that, but like that's a really thin line between having D1 offers and not. All great kids though. I love DeJuan Odom, man. Dude, different.
Yeah, he's different.
If my body could, man, if I was that athletic, I wouldn't be sitting right here today with you guys.
I remember he threw somebody in like 8th grade. They threw the lob. He went up and got it at Emory, and that joint went viral. Like it was all over the world.
Most athletic player I've seen since Isaac Okoro, probably. Yeah. You going Huff or you want me to go?
I'll go.
What you got for us?
Well, it's funny because we don't talk about who our kids are to each other.
We don't.
I'm on a point guard kick too, so I guess we're gonna start with the state champions first. Are we starting with that? Dre, you gonna roll that one for me?
Man, you gave Huff the VIP treatment. I got to do mine on my own. This man just you gonna roll it.
Hey, when you become a head coach, you know how to delegate, son.
Hey, Huff sent his stuff to me so early. Hold on. He emailed it. Let me get this over to this screen. I do like this kid. Hey, man, before we talk about this kid.
Now, I asked in a minute.
Before we talk about this kid, man, prayers up to Albany, Georgia.
Yes.
Shout out to our boy Locke.
Yes.
Still down in Albany with his family. Bro, we love you, man. This show is not the same without you on here. Can't wait for you to get back, bro.
Love you, bro. Prayers, man. Yeah.
Sure. Let's see. Here we go. This your state champion, Huff.
All right. We're talking about state champ. Oh, no. This is a Lovejoy kid. That's fine. We can roll this one. This is Jamal Reynolds from Lovejoy High School. 5'11" point guard, average 13.6 assists. He gets downhill with the quickness. Really good guard. I really think especially, I don't want to say what level the kid is, but if the kid needs a shot, I definitely know a JUCO can really take a chance on him. Has a 3.0, 860 SAT score. He was all region, and we're talking about the region with Tucker. And this is verse. Is this verse Tucker here, or was this? Or this is all season highlights. So he's really able to get downhill, can make open jump shots. I really like the kid. Had a chance to play against him. So when you scout against somebody, you really get to see what a player is all about. You watch him on film. He makes the right decisions with the basketball. He's been coached by Willie Reese, who's the head coach at Lovejoy, who spent time at the college level. So I really like this kid right here.
Seen a couple good passes, man.
I mean, I love kids, especially point guards who make the right play, you know.
A lot of toughness down there in that Lovejoy area, man. You got to be tough.
Yep. So again, that's Jamal Reynolds out of Lovejoy. Definite kid that somebody, you know, should take a look at. And then the next one will be my state championship kid. You know, if Locke was here, he'd be praising me for picking this kid off this team.
He would.
He chose them very early on after June basketball that they were going to win the state championship. But Cameron Hobbs, the point guard of the state championship, Dutchtown High School, he made first team our region this year. Last year he was second team. Another, you know, smaller point guard, which I know some coaches don't like. But again, you know, I think the kid can get his shot off. And a lot of times when you're a smaller guard, that's what it's about, getting your shot off. Deep three there at a big event at Wheeler. Makes the right decision, the right pass, you know, off the pick and roll.
Hey, coach, I don't like coaches that tell me they don't like small guards. Go pick a 6'3" dude who can't play. Like, you want a basketball player. Go get a 6'3" dude who can't play. Go teach him how to play basketball instead of taking.
You know, but some system, some coaches like him because of their system. So that's why I say some coaches don't like small guards. You know, kid can really stroke it. He did a really good job, especially down the stretch for them, with the ball control and his decision making for them this year.
Ooh.
That was a packed gym too. I don't know if y'all saw that down at Dutchtown.
Like that one dribble pull up. Hey, this kid got that thing on a string.
Nah, he's good.
Nice handle. Right.
He got that thing. Ooh.
Told you, man. That kid's good, man.
Wait, get you some of that.
The kid knows basketball too. He has some coaching bloodline in his family. If anybody knows Carl Hobbs, who used to be the head coach of George Washington, that's part of his family. So,
yo, he all right.
Nah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
I get these highlights. I kind of let these highlights rock. He all right.
Coach, I don't just bring anybody now. Come on now.
Yo, blood, he all right.
Again.
See, and again, we talking about guys who really don't like. I'm not gonna say these kids don't have any offers because, like, Roman Son and some of these guys, they have some offers, but we're not talking about highly recruited kids. Like, this is a kid you can go get. Yeah. This is a kid you can make a phone call and have on campus.
Who does he play with on the summer team, Huff? You know,
I have to find that out, but I mean,
that's tough.
And Roman's son played with the Knights, right?
Yep.
With the Knights, with the Georgia Knights.
Georgia Knights. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, hey, this kid, all right, bro. Like, this kid can play.
Yeah, he's good. I've seen him play live. He's good.
Bang. That's crazy.
He's scrappy too.
Yes. And again, you're getting a winner now. You're getting a winner.
Hey, I'm sorry, man, Coach. I understand the whole system thing, and y'all gonna tell me that guys, you know, hey, Bryce, we've seen some head scratching commitments on Twitter over the last few days, and y'all telling me that kid is still available.
Hey, I don't really want to go down that. I'm gonna let you have that one.
Hey, man, I don't know. Hey, that kid, all right. I'll get to mine, and Rob, we got a few of yours queued up, man. But we'll save the best for last, man. I'll give you the floor, and we'll let you do your kids as soon right after this, and we'll go.
Who you got, Dre? Who you got, Dre?
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I gotta pull some kids out the tuck. You know what I'm saying? I got a state champion as well. That's not being recruited the way that he should be.
Again, we didn't even talk about this. We all chose guards and state champions.
I got all point guards. Well, I got
combo.
A shooting guard, a combo, and 2 point guards, man. But I got to give it to this kid first, right? I haven't heard anybody, whether it's AAU or or whether it's AAU or whether it was during the high school season, I watched this kid and I thought all the way that this was a D1 kid. Benjamin Raspberry from New Manchester.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Is
that's a
a
good one.
player.
Yes.
You think he's Division 1 though?
Like, and
I
I'm
think
only
he
going
could.
look.
But it's tough. He's good. Yeah.
Listen, coach, don't listen to my evaluation. I don't get paid to do that. So I'm only basing it on what I've seen,
He's
the
good.
level that I've seen other kids sign to.
That's a
right?
good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Here's what I will say. Benjamin Raspberry is a hooper, 6'3" guard that however you want it, whatever you want him to do, he can get it done.
Yeah, he can get it done. Yeah.
Let's see. Here we go. Benjamin Raspberry from New Manchester. Whoever's recording was really excited watching the game because there's some lags. Showing you the jump shot. Like, that's effortless. That release, like, he letting that go easy.
You know, I saw this kid at Corey Black's event making dreams come true right before the state championship in Macon. And you're right, man. This kid, effortless jump shot.
Good pass, boy. Can tell the kid blew the layup, though. Come on, cameraman. In space, bang. Like,
what does he have? Who does he have anything?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my and the kid has grades.
There was a couple dudes on this team that can get it done.
Let me go back to his Twitter. Like,
that was nice.
I think he's got a GPA too. We're talking about a 6'3" guard with a 40-inch vertical, bro. Like, that can play. He made one play on here, coach, where he made a pass. The guy had a layup. He got the ball stolen from him.
Hey, but we got people that I like. Some of these kids, they have no offense at all.
I don't, man.
There's 3 dudes on New Manchester who can play Division 1. At minimum, D2.
Hey, man. Coach came. Hey, man. Dude came to Marietta, and I think.
Let that ride. Oh, he missed it.
Hey, that's what I thought was going down too. You see a lot of defensive plays from this kid.
Snap. This is against. Oh, daggone.
That's against Creekside.
Yeah. that play was.
I love defensive highlights. Give me those. Give me those. What I like about this kid is on his highlight tape, and it's not all on this tape. Like, I had to watch a lot of film of this kid. This kid rebounds the ball.
Well, I've seen it a little bit in this
well,
one. Yeah.
Man. Like, he's doing everything. He's making winning basket. Like, you're gonna win games because of this kid on the floor. Like, this kid can hoop. Knock down free throws the whole 9. That's Benjamin Raspberry. Hey, look for us after the podcast. I'll tweet out. We'll put together a list and we'll get all the Twitter IDs of the kids that were called out. The next kid that I want to make sure that we show some love to. Let's see here. Let me pull this stuff up. Another really good player, combo guard that can really get up. Kid can fly. Like, athleticism here in the state is absolutely insane. This is Nicholas Allen from Mundy's Mill. Really good player. Appreciate Huddle. I hope y'all got highlights on here and not just photos. There we go. Hey, Hey, that was off the vert. Another kid, good athleticism, great size for a guard, plays defense, challenges shots at the rim, rebounds the basketball. Kid can shoot it. Bang. This is a hoops hitting gems kid.
Shout out to my guy Dave, Hidden Gems. He's getting it done over there. You know what I'm saying? Think he's watching?
Hey man, I don't know where Dave found this kid from. I didn't know this kid existed, but he can play.
You know how many kids can't go full court with their left hand?
Man,
Probably
bang.
75% of the state.
Stop playing with me. We D up. Stop playing with me. We D up.
Hiram had there's a
Yeah.
Because Hiram has one too.
And mind you now, right-handed, shooting the ball right-handed, a lot of left-hand finishes in traffic.
That's nice.
Taking a charge. Good.
Oh yeah, he's straight.
So very good basketball player. That's Nick Allen. Reach out to @GymHoops to find out everything.
How big is the kid?
6'3". And I don't think those are fake numbers either, Coach. If you're looking at the tape, like I don't think that's
what's
fake
the numbers.
You know what he finished during the season? Like points or anything?
I don't, but I can send Dave a link and Dave can jump in on this call and tell us everything that we need to know. I know Dave has worked closely with that kid. So good basketball player, man. Very solid basketball player. I was able to watch not just his highlights, because I really don't watch a lot of these highlights before we show them on the show. I like to go back and watch game film that's available. So I'm not just out here talking out of the side of my neck. So this is a kid that I've watched full game tape, multiple games, and to understand that, man, this kid can actually like really play basketball. So I'll save the champion for last. College coaches.
Shout out to Nick Allen
just signed JUCO last week.
Hey man, that'll get you fired in college. You bring that to the head coach and he'd already signed. That'll get you fired, my Dre.
Dave trying to get me killed. Dave, you're supposed to be on the text, dog. I told you we're gonna do this, kid, man. You're supposed to holler at me, bro. He can play though. Hey, whoever you went JUCO, man, you got a kid. I'll do my state champion now.
All right.
We talking about a kid at the highest classification on the best team. We talking about Nash Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. He get 2 weeks in a row?
When did Nash go?
I'm pretty sure I did him last week. But go ahead. He deserves 2. Let him rock out.
I thought we did Prince last week.
I thought it was Prince. Who Prince just committed to Belmont Abbey, by the way.
Yeah.
Prince Davies just committed to Belmont. Hey, look at this. I'm getting busy on you. And the crazy thing is, that's not even what Nash Kelly really does. He has the ability to do it.
He's tough, man.
Making great passes.
He kind of like a tough New York City kind of kid, kind of guard.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Physical, tough, tight handle.
Makes the right basketball play, man.
State champion,
well head, for sure. Sits down on defense.
Nice shot. Stroked it.
I think saying that he sits down on defense is probably an understatement for a Larry Thompson kid.
Right. Yeah. The whole team is required to do that, or else they won't play probably.
Facts. There are a lot of kids who think they sit out. Look, cross-court pass, 3, knock down. Give me those. And this is a kid that I've watched a bunch in person. I always love a point guard that gets more excited for when his teammates make shots than when they score themselves. Like Nash Kelly is getting amped when his teammates get buckets.
I like that. I like
Too
that.
strong. Too
Yeah, I like
strong. Can't stop him from getting where he want to
Was he,
go.
was he here last year? Did he play for them? I don't remember him last year.
Ooh. Tough.
Tough, man. Yeah.
Too little. That pass, boy. Look at that pass, boy. Stop playing with me.
Yeah.
I love this kid. I had a lot of fun watching.
Oh, yeah, yes. He nice.
Had a lot of fun watching Willard play, and that kid was a big part of why I like them so much, man.
You can see why they win games, man. That point guard play is important.
When you got a point guard that don't turn the ball over, man, it's hard to beat teams like that, man. He ain't gonna give it to you. But that was Nash Kelly. Now we got a few TSF kids that we're gonna talk about, man. Rob, I got Kenny Burns.
Kenny Burns, let's go.
I got his plays queued up, man. If you want to talk about, Kenny, let's see.
Kenny Burns, where you at? Nice stroke.
Yeah, real combo guard. He's a great playmaker, great passer. That's one thing I think a lot of people don't understand.
And I think playing with you guys, he was able to show his basketball IQ, Rob, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Just using it. I mean, Kenny's one of them kids that what he does really well is shoot. So, you know, sometimes he's in a position where that's all that's asked of him, but he got potential. I think he's long. I sent his film to a Division I coach in the Sun Belt yesterday. They said, you know, how is this kid available? So it's just a matter of finding that one situation that wants to bring in a young guy who fits the bill. And I think he can fill a lot of roles at some spots because he's competitive. He makes shots.
Hey, that play right there, that
nice.
block right there is not a block that Kenny Burns makes last year.
I agree. That was development that I saw right there.
Yeah. I think his body has gotten stronger. I've definitely seen some increased toughness. Not to say that the kid didn't have it, but I've seen more of that when I saw him play this year with you guys.
Yeah, he's got a nice frame on him, and then he just got, you know, he comes from a good background of just supporting people that, you know, are pushing him to be really good. So I think he's just one of them kids that's going to be better when he's 21 than he was when he was 18. Right. So just finding the right spot and being patient. But and then the competition, like this game is in Spain. We're playing against a team from Sweden, you know, a national team from Sweden. So he has games against really good teams. I think he's ready to contribute somewhere.
Very good basketball player, man. This is a kid I've heard a lot as well. Got Jordan Brown up. Coach, hold on.
You got Snow in the queue?
We got Snow in the queue, man.
Oh yeah, you go let his play.
Tap him in real quick.
Let's get Snow in here.
Ooh, splash.
Yeah, some shooters on this team, man. Y'all wasn't playing around.
You got it. The game has changed, so got to be able to hit that three ball. That's what he does well.
Snow gave me like 30 points one game.
Quick.
Yeah, he pull up
quick.
Like half court.
He do it quick. Good motor, and then he's so quick and fast. But you know, some guys, you know, coaches, I think a lot of times talk about what somebody can't do, but you got to look at what guys can do. He's making high level shots, and he does it against any competition. So it's just a matter of a coach liking his type of skill set. You know, needing to change a pace guard that can get downhill, make passes, but also stretch the floor and shoot it. He fits the bill for whoever's looking for that.
We always talk about kids, you know, and their scoring and whether or not it translates to the next level. One thing I will say about Snow, like, these shots translate to the next level. If you open from a corner three and you can make that shot, a corner three is a corner three.
Yes. I haven't seen Snow miss too many threes. And that's no hype. Like, with
if you can make shots, you can make shots for sure.
He had games I think he would score 26, 28 points in 18, 19 minutes. He gets it up quick. And once he gets hot, he stays hot and he makes the right plays.
Yep.
And mind you, we had 7 kids average double figures. So he's doing it in segments instead of playing on, so I think sometimes they get penalized for that at the college level if their stats aren't 25 points a game, but it translates more when you do it in tight minutes, so yeah. I think he can do what he did this year at somebody else's program and help him out.
100%. Next one we got is Dylan McClain. This is a kid I don't know, Coach.
Neither do I.
So Dylan's 6'5", wing, athletic, another one of them kids whose game is just
I've seen him.
This game is in front of him. He just got to get to a spot that's going to continue to develop him. But he does a lot of things at his size that can translate. So whatever his route is, I think if he's patient, he could definitely be a Division I player with his size and his body. Just finding the right spot for him. But he plays around the floor. He can do a lot of things.
Yeah, if you told me he was bigger than 6'5", I believe you, Coach. It's a big kid.
6'5", athletic. He's strong body, gets downhill, but he can pass, he can shoot, make plays. He's gonna be good. Just gotta find the right spot for
him. Ooh. Hey, boy. So a lot of kids think about going prep. You better be ready for that smoke, boy. these ain't no little dudes, dog. Like this is not a small guy. That is a big, powerful kid. All right, Coach. The last one we got was Michael McAllister. We'll get him up.
This is a kid right here who he's another one. Scores it easy. Looking for some D2s for him. But you got to value what he does. He's super high IQ, quick release, and he can do more than shoot it, but he shoots it really, really well. Averaged 30 a game in high school, and just needed a stage to do it against better competition, and the scoring translates. So you just got to find a spot that, wants to continue to develop. And he's going to be a real good college player, knows how to play, score from any level, but runs the floor, competes on defense. And then these kids, like I said, I'm going to brag about my kids, but they're good kids and they're coachable and they, they got game and they want to work. So, that's half the battle.
This kid is shooting from the hash mark.
He can put on the floor too, make plays. Quick release though, and he uses that quick release to get to the rim. Left hand finish, strong body, just needs to develop.
Hey man, a lot of great kids out here, coaches. Like we don't have to give up on recruiting just because we don't have AAU, man. There's still a lot of great kids out here that you can get in touch with, man. So this is a segment that we want to do every single time we jump on here, man. We want to help kids. So one thing that I do want to say is keep tweeting us your name, your highlights. Reach out to any of us at Mondre Allen, at Jim Hoops, at Love of the Game, Coach Huff, Bryce, Locke. Like, hit us up. Don't stop sending your highlights. Like, this is gonna be a long summer. We're gonna do this every single show, 2 shows a week. There are that many kids out there that can play, and that can play and that need help. So we're gonna try to show as many kids as we possibly can, and try to help as many kids and give exposure to as many kids as we possibly can. So, great job there all around. Get in touch with us if you want to get to know one of those kids. We'll pass on the information that we have. So appreciate that. Coach, for your kids, who actually handles their recruitment? Is that just you, or do you guys have a team of people that's doing that, or how does that work when it comes to TSF kids? Who is handling like their recruitment?
I mean, it kind of. I mean, I guess I start handling it. Just reaching out, finding a level for each kid. We have other coaches on the staff, so they'll call and email and send some stuff out, and then we host some tournaments during the year too. So coaches will come and see something they like, either from our team or somebody else's team, and reach out and maintain. And then sometimes you got to do it the old-fashioned way of just getting your film and your highlights and your game film organized and emailing the schools that you see might have a need for your position. So it kind of works all the way around, but it funnels through me. But everybody kind of plays their role in helping the kids get on.
Do y'all handle that process? Or when coach comes and they give some positive feedback, is it just kind of like turned over to the kid and the family at that point? Are y'all like directing kids based on the relationship that y'all have with certain players or with certain coaches, and say, man, this might be a good fit for you, or this may not be a good fit for you based on, what we know?
Yeah, fit's the most important. I mean, just finding you don't want to send guys to a spot that they're not loved.
Yeah.
You don't want to just to be there. I always say just to wear the jersey. So sometimes kid couldn't play high major, but they're in and out with them. You should go to that mid major that's been on you for a long time. Sometimes, it's a situation that a kid really wants to be a 3, and one coach wants to play him at a 3-2, another one sees him as a 4-3. Depending on which situation you feel comfortable with, just choosing that right spot. But the thing I listen for the most is just who has a plan for each kid. Instead of just filling a spot, if you have a plan to develop, I think that's missing. I don't want to say at the college level, but it's missing a lot in the game. Just having a plan to develop the guys, even if they're not a finished product right away. Some guys it takes them a little bit longer. So just sending guys to spots that have that type of patience for them. Sometimes it's JUCO, sometimes it's D2, whatever the best fit is, and then academically, and then from the social standpoint too. Finding the right fit for certain dudes and having relationships where I've sent guys before and the coaches taking care of them and held up to their word, whatever they said they were going to be able to do for him. And it's not if he averages 20 or anything like that, but just having a plan for the guys to finish in the classroom and get better on the floor, and then the opportunity for them to play. And if they're not good enough, then have the communication to let us know that too, and so we can find the best spot for them. So that's kind of how we look at it.
So Rob, I would think you agree with this comment right here. A college coach should find talent, recruit it, sign it, but develop it.
Yeah,
I think the last part is what we've been missing. I mean, is that development part. Like, you're not gonna get a finished product. I don't care whether you get them from high school, JUCO, prep. Like, you're gonna have to keep developing that kid so he can continue to get better.
Yep.
Say it again for the people in the back, Coach.
Find it, recruit it, sign it, develop it.
And if you find a finished product, unless you're one of the blue bloods, it's likely not coming to your school. So be prepared to develop something in a kid.
But even a finished product still has to get better if he's trying to be a pro. Like, come on, like.
Speaking of guys that are elite and close to finished products now, may not even be stepping foot on college campuses anymore.
Right.
We want to talk about this. Jalen
changing the game.
Jalen Green, top high school player, one of the top high school players in the country, who I thought was going to Auburn, decides to enter the NBA through the G League Pathway program.
But he's not the only one, though. He's not the only one.
Who else signed to do that?
What was the other kid?
They offered like 5 kids or so.
Did they?
Yeah, they offered the kid from USC, Evan Mobley, the big man. They offered Greg Brown, who's about to commit or make a decision in like the next couple days or week.
That makes sense.
I think some of them just turned them down, but they offered like, from what I understand, they offered like 5 or 6 or something like that.
I get it. From what I'm seeing, and Jalen Green, for those who don't know, is
Isaiah Todd.
Isaiah
Todd went. Yep.
Isaiah Todd, who is nice, who is dumb nice.
He's different. Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's gonna be some Georgia kids with that opportunity in a couple of years too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so. So what I'm seeing is a G League. It's
Let's go.
It's a G League initiative. Let's get the details out of the way first. We're talking about a NBA program, a G League initiative, where sources are saying that elite prospects could get paid $500,000 plus, where they're going to be provided a 1-year development program that is outside of the minor league's traditional team structure. So I'm not sure what that means or how that works. But it does not sound like we're going to give you $500,000 and then just throw you in with the rest of the G League. It sounds like that there's something, at least from a development standpoint, maybe their games will be with the regular G League, but it sounds like that there's some sort of development or structure, a program in place in addition to that for these particular kids. Let me throw a shout out real quick. Anytime that we mention the G League, we should mention the G League president, Sharif Abdul-Rahim,
yep.
an Atlanta guy, right? And remind kids that there's more to basketball than what happens on the court. We need more Sharif Abdul-Rahims. We need more Atlanta guys that after their playing career is over, become commissioners of leagues, that become presidents of colleges, that become athletic directors of colleges, that become coaches, so that we can continue and better the culture. But we need guys that are in positions of power and in leadership to continue to do that. So I'll get off my soapbox, but I did want to say that. To me, I think LaMelo Ball and RJ Hampton, when they went to Australia, some things kind of changed. When LaMelo decided, hey, the team that I played with in Australia, I'm going to buy that team and then go get drafted. I think that changed a lot for people, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody telling me it was Isaiah Todd as the other kid. My bad, I didn't see y'all comments.
Isn't it hard for a kid who's I don't know, graduating from high school to turn down $500,000? I mean,
I don't know how many people should turn down $500,000 to do anything for free.
Anything.
It depends.
I'm just going to be honest.
I agree with you, but what if that kid feels that college degree right now is that important? Not saying he can't go back, but maybe he's going to be the kid feels that college degree is that important for him to go, or he wants that college experience for.
I feel you. I mean, I'm sure
you got to look at it both sides. You got to look at it both sides now.
I'm just gonna say
$500,000 though. That's hard. I mean, that's just hard to turn down for anybody. And then you're already basically in the league. You right there.
I'm just gonna say, let's take this outside of basketball, right? Let's say that
Kai Soto getting that bag.
Yeah, let's ask this question first. Now that Rob is back.
Wow.
let's put Rob on the spot before I go there. Let's put Rob on the spot, man. Is Kai Soto going to get the bag, or is he going to college?
He's only 17, so he's not eligible for the league yet. So I think I don't know. It's still some time for him to decide what he's going to do. I think the plan is to come back, prep another year, and then see what his options are. But he's still only 17.
He's 17. Okay,
That's
changes.
Crazy. He's only 17.
That's crazy.
That's
when it comes to this basketball thing, I'm just gonna say this. And I'll use my own self and my own son. If DeJuan was a Java developer, right? So if he could code and he was a front end Java developer, and Google or Facebook or somebody like that was like, hey, right out of high school, instead of going, we want you to intern with us, and this is going to be your salary instead of going to college. I think we would look at this very differently than we would for a basketball player.
Okay.
I don't think that we would have that conversation and say, well, what about the college experience? And what about getting your degree? I think we have that conversation because it's a young black kid that plays basketball. Because we don't have this conversation with the high school kids that are going pro to play baseball ever.
And they get paid right off rip out of high school sometimes, right?
So I want to make sure, I feel like I wouldn't be responsible if I did not call that out. Not to say that this system is perfect, right? Because there are other things to consider. Like Tory Lewis just posted a question, is $500K worth more than what the player potential earnings would be if he did 1 year of college? Now, Tory,
still gonna be a lottery pick.
Look at Dave. Java, SAP, baby. Dave know where that IT money at. Tory, here's what I would say. I think it's important that in that announcement, the thing that I pulled away from it was, in addition to the G League, we have this development program, right? Part of that development program has to be marketing. The NBA is much better at marketing athletes than the NCAA. I don't think that there's a question there, right? But will the NBA put those marketing dollars behind those athletes? Because we're talking about a $500,000 payment. But the other thing that I think we have to consider is the fact that now, and the comments are rolling in. Oh, he getting a shoe deal. That's exactly where I was going.
Let it fail, right?
Now that a shoe company that has had a relationship with this kid, let's not be fake and act like that the shoe companies haven't had relationships with these kids since they were probably in 8th grade or younger. Now that the shoe company that's had a relationship with this kid this entire time can immediately offer him
sponsorship,
a shoe contract, and he can get some value. And they have a vested interest in marketing the kid along with the NBA at that point. To me, I feel like it's a no-brainer. To me, if you're offered that opportunity, you almost have to take it. You can go back to college after you're done, even if you're done in 2 years. You can go to college with a pocket full of money and still have a great experience. I would suggest that at that point you go to a HBCU and have a really good time.
Come on, go to the AUC.
The minute one of these dudes decides they're gonna rock with an HBCU, it's gonna change the game.
Somebody should.
How is that gonna be possible?
And I don't even know if it has to. Even just give me a mid-major dude, a dude that we know is going mid-major, decides like I'm going to HBCU. Change the game.
100%. I just think that's hard to turn down. And you're right. Coach Benson is correct when he says that it's only elite players that's being offered this G League option, not all players. And that is correct. Like everybody shouldn't be offered this.
And that's the other thing. People are like, oh, well, there goes the NCAA. The NCAA is in trouble.
No, we're talking.
Not, bro. People are still going to watch college
Yeah.
basketball. They're still going to watch the Final Four and so on. That's not going to stop me from watching college basketball because Jalen Green is in the G League. I'm probably going to watch it more now.
And we're only talking about like 10 kids. So we're only talking about
kids. It's still a
we're
million kids out here that can play basketball.
Yeah, we're talking about 2 kids that would have went to Duke, 2 that would have went to Kentucky. One, you know what I mean? Like we're talking about a handful of schools that can even get those kids anyway. Speaking of HBCUs though, Rob, didn't y'all send y'all had a point guard that was like a certified cooker? Didn't he go to Tennessee State? Where'd y'all send that
last
kid?
year, Tennessee State.
That's when I first started watching y'all, man. Like that kid, like not when I first started watching y'all, but that's when I was like, yo, like that kid made me kind of follow y'all around. Like that dude was cooking.
Yeah, he started this year as a freshman. Yeah, he started as a freshman. But that's OVC, so there's different levels of HBCUs, and I think they have to do a good job of stepping their programs up too, so these kids still getting the stuff that they need to get better. You know what I mean? I think it could be a situation where kids choose that route, but it's got to make sense. The stuff's got to be the same as it is at these other colleges as far as the exposure and stuff.
Let's speak on it. What do they need to do to step it up? Because we are always talking and other things that I'm a part of what. How can we get more kids to HBCU? So let's talk. Let's be real. What do they need to do to step up, Rob? Let's be for real. Let's be honest.
How much do those facilities really matter in the development of a player? That's what I want.
I don't think facilities matter. I want to talk about other stuff.
Oh yeah, it's like on a Friday night. Do you have access to get in the gym, or is the gym being occupied by a pep rally, or is the dance team in the gym? Like that stuff matters. If where are the coaches at? I see a couple coaches from the MEAC and SWAC around. Shout out to Alcorn State. They always come around. And,
yes, sir.
And a few others. I mean, they'll come, but we don't see them as much. They're not. There's a lot of kids that are just waiting for any Division I offer. So if it's about the budget, not being able to get on the road and recruit, some of the teams they're not competitive at all when they go out of conference. I'm not talking about losing games. If you're getting 40, 50, 60, the gap of players isn't nearly that much. So what is it as far as the program that's not for all of them. I played at a HBCU. We, knocked at Norfolk State, we knocked Missouri off in the first round of the tournament because we had players. Mm-hmm. But after that first round, were we prepared to make a run versus these other spots? So you got to go somewhere. If the goal in college is to maximize yourself, NCAA tournament is probably the most important thing. And if you talk about these HBCUs, it's a one-bid league. It's tough, so they got to do a better job, in my opinion, of just recruiting like their regular colleges. Whether that's D1, D2, whatever, recruit.
They can't use this use of a budget because so there are two things I heard from you. Number one, let me go back. You said a one-bid league, like. Yep. You can go all the way up to the OVC, the Sun Belt. They're all one big leagues.
One big league.
So they may get another one. They may get another one every now and then. But most times they got to win their conference.
I love Kennesaw State.
But it's a one bid league.
That's a one bid league.
But see, Kennesaw State.
I love Georgia State. That's
HBCUs can get those players that Kennesaw State. Now Kennesaw, they're doing a great job over there and getting higher, players that are a level up. They're doing that and still keeping the culture. I think Amir's doing a great job just building that program. He's got a great staff. They're out. They're about. Guys are starting to see what they're doing as far as like their campus and people are going to see that. So it's going to be an option for them because they're around, they're involved. These other schools, you got to let people see you and see you around because if you're not getting the exposure on TV, then at least be in their face and recruit them. You know how many kids are ready to commit in February that have no offers that would go? Yeah. They got to get out and recruit. You can't just wait on JUCOs or wait on these showcases. It's got to be, it's got to be aggressive.
The kid, the point guard from Campbell, forgot his name.
Myson Lowe. Myson Lowe's going to Alcorn State.
Myson Lowe gets busy, and they went and came in here and got him.
Yep.
But because they're there, because Evan Davis is one of the dudes at Alcorn State who's out recruiting.
No
It
doubt.
could be done.
I gotta give them
It could
credit,
be
bro.
done.
Like I saw them at JUCO events, at high school events. Like they was out here, and it's a lot of schools that's closer, HBCUs that's closer than what they are, and they were out here, bro.
But when we talk about one bid leagues, it's not just the HBCUs who are out. So let's not just say it's just HBCUs. But I just want to make sure that people understand, like for us to get to a point where we're sending kids where HBCUs can compete the way we want them to compete versus the other leagues, then they've got to do their job on their part to get out. And we've got to do our job on our part as coaches. Bryce, you in the AAU circuit and a high school coach. Myself as a high school coach. Rob as a post-grad and prep school coach. Mondre, you as a AAU coach to promote these ones that are doing it right.
We can only do our part though. You know what I mean? Like I could say a kid so and so, like you really need to consider going to a Morehouse. Really consider going to a Clark. It's a good basketball conference. It's good high level basketball.
Great basketball.
But you know, we can only do what we can do. Like
I'm gonna keep it all the way 100, man. Look. And Tori, I get it, bro.
So to me, that's an excuse.
Like, nobody invests in the Georgia Canes besides me. You know what I'm saying? And some parents I get out and go like that. You know what I mean? What's the difference?
Hey, when Tori says that the HBCU endowment is not as much as PWI and HBCU depends mostly on alumni donations to sustain, you're 100% right. I 100% agree. But Twitter is free. Twitter's free. Instagram is free, dog. Like this cell phone bill that you paying every month, like you can call and text, and Zoom is free. Like those relationships and building those relationships matters, man. And I feel like in a lot of the HBCU coaches that I've talked to, it's almost a defeated mindset where you feel like that you can't get the kid. Well, maybe you can't. Maybe the best that you can do for the kid that you really want is get listed in his top 10. But that is still free marketing for you.
I think,
and then maybe you get the next kid. Maybe the next kid you're in the top 8. Maybe the next kid you're in the top 5, and then maybe you get the one after that.
Margaret, we talked about yesterday when we talked on the phone that a lot of these high schools in the area have. Maybe you can't get the first guy. Maybe you can't get the second guy, but the third guy is still really, really, really good.
Facts.
You could get the third guy off.
How many HBCU offers does Nash Kelly have?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's
my exact point.
Facts.
My exact point.
But I got one even better for you. Why I got to take the third guy? The first guy gonna have to tell me. The first guy gonna have to tell me no. When I was at Alcorn State, it was me and Middle Tennessee State. We were the only 2 people in there for Kane Williams before Georgia State got him. He was going to have to tell me no.
No, that's not my point. My point is I'm not saying don't go after the top guy. I'm just saying in the state of Georgia and in other states, there's enough talent that even if you don't get the first guy, the second or third guy is still very, very good.
100%.
Like we talked about the kid at Kennesaw State. What was the big man that got hurt?
Amari Harris.
Yeah, he played with Ashton Higgins, right?
Yeah,
and Isaiah, like
now he was after them, but still
he played with Ashton.
Yeah,
he played with Ashton.
So there's dudes that are second and third dude that can still get it done.
But it goes back to relationships, man. We've got to coaches at all levels got to do a better job of building relationships, and it's kind of what CB does on Saturdays with his networking, so you can build relationships with people. Like I'll just give you an example. I graduated from Morehouse. Bryce graduated from Morehouse. That's a connection right there. Coach Maxwell at East Coweta graduated from Jackson State. Coach Moultrie from South Cobb graduated from Albany State. Coach Troop from North Clayton graduated from Albany State.
Keep going.
We can just keep this thing we can keep going and going. Like
HBCUs, we love you. We've said this since the inception of the show. We love you, but like I can't get you to answer the phone.
Some of them.
A lot of them. I can't get you to answer the phone, man. Like, you know how
Consistently.
long I've been trying. Like, I take a group of 20, anywhere from 20 to 40 kids to college campuses for the last 2 years, we've been dragging kids to college campuses. I got Bethune-Cookman to answer the phone. Now, would the coaches talk to us? Would anybody from athletics talk to us? No. But we got to tour the campus.
That's a start, though.
It's a start. I'll take it. I'm still going to bring my kids. If I can't, if I can talk academics, if I can get my kids on campus, I'm bringing them. But there are schools in our own backyard that I can't get anybody to answer the phone. I can't even get my kids on campus.
Here's something that we can start doing. And Cam Daly has a Zoom. We sitting at home, so don't act like we're not. You might have something to do. I'm not gonna say you don't have anything to do, but he has a Zoom tomorrow at 5 p.m. Go to his Twitter. He'll get you in. It's tomorrow. It's an HBCU roundtable. All right. It's gonna have Jared Stevens, assistant coach for FAMU.
Yep, he's out.
It's gonna have Penny Collins, head coach at Tennessee State.
Penny gets out.
It's gonna have the assistant coach from Miles on there. It's gonna have the assistant coach from Voorhees on there. Those are 4 networking opportunities that you can do, that we can do as high school coaches, that other people can do, AAU coaches. Let's get on that. Let's start connecting these dots, man. I'm tired of seeing HBCUs get left behind.
This last comment is intriguing. I like this. I think HBCUs need to evaluate and develop better. Many have a defeated mindset.
Because y'all finna bring the lock out of me about this now. So hold on.
Morehouse had an NBA player a couple years ago.
Exactly. He was NBA. So you're gonna tell me if you keep going after women, you're gonna stop because you keep getting those? But come on, that's not a good excuse, man. Nah, man.
I'm with it. Look, hey, coaches, I understand. We talked about it on this show. We talked about a player that Morehouse got him on campus, had him on campus during homecoming, and the kid said no. Right?
Okay, you missed out. Let's keep going.
What I'm saying is, instead of having that one kid on campus during homecoming, let me help you get 10.
Right.
Yes.
There are too many of us that love and respect and will help you when it comes to HBCUs because we value you.
At Alcorn State, listen, at Alcorn State, I had a Caucasian kid come to homecoming. He committed.
I'm gonna tell you something. I took. Hey, listen.
You like, huh?
I took my full team to Bethune-Cookman last year. We were there like that first part of May. Campus was kind of dead. I had about 8 kids that was ready to sign and commit, man. They had so many questions about HBCUs. They were so interested. They had never been exposed to it, right? Like even the fraternity and sorority stuff, like they were blown away at that experience, and they loved it. But HBCUs, we love you guys, man. There are too many of us coaches and too many of us that are involved in basketball that value you.
There's not too many games. I don't care if it's an HBCU or other that is like a Morehouse and Clark Atlanta basketball game when Forbes Arena is packed from the floor to the ceiling. Like there's no greater game.
Go back to that other one, Mondre. Go back to the one David put up there, because that's not just HBCUs. Like LaVelle Moulton said it. I heard him on an IG live with Travis Williams.
Great job.
And he said, in all honesty, high school players are 6. There's 6 on the list everywhere. And what I mean by that is that the grad transfers come first. The regular transfers come second. The JUCOs come third. Your overseas kids and your prep schools are going to come 4th and 5th. That leaves a high school player at 6 on the list. I don't care whether you are Power 5 or you a low major or a D2. That's the way it's going to go. The problem is, okay, you've got to do a better job of identifying how they fit in your program. If I need somebody to be able to play right away, I've got to look at this player. But can I develop this player right here and understand what he's going to become? Maybe not after year 1. Maybe not year 1, excuse me, but year 2, 3, and 4.
It's a great point about the alma mater.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Tori's putting out great information.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Tori.
For sure.
That's my assistant coach, man.
We talking
I
about
love you, Tori.
And we talking about guys who really work for HBCUs. Like Tori does a lot of work trying to help kids, trying to help HBCUs. But like even this statement is part of the thing. Like I would suggest go through the local alumni chapter. Their purpose is scholarships and recruitment of local kids to their alma mater. Promise you they will arrange to get a kid up there. I'm with you, right? But here's goes back to why we're getting so many no's, right? How will a kid look at it if I'm chasing the school to see them for that experience versus the other schools that they have recruiting them, reaching out and chasing them? They're gonna look at it differently, man. I mean, we want to make that introduction to the kid, and 100% that having going to the local alumni chapter. Tori, post something in here for us on how to help us find those. Like, how do we promote different alumni chapters? Is there somewhere we can go, or just
that's on the coach of the program. They gotta tap into.
When I was at Alcorn, we had a Houston alumni chapter. We had an Atlanta alumni chapter, Chicago alumni chapter. You got to find these different things if you're coaching at that spot to even help you. Like, okay, I'm recruiting a kid from Atlanta. I can get a kid. I hope I ain't get nobody in trouble. I can get a alumni kid from the Atlanta alumni to hit the kid up on social media why he needs to go to Alcorn. Like, I got Atlanta dudes to come to Alcorn. I got a transfer that came from Western Kentucky to commit to Alcorn. So don't tell me the stuff can't happen. Avery Patterson came to Alcorn from Western Kentucky.
Can't be done.
We got a JUCO that was at Chat Tech, AJ Mosley, that came to Alcorn. You know.
So when you were there and you were recruiting, what were some things that you did to get these kids in?
Man, you gotta have a vision, man. You got to have a vision, man, of what you're trying to do. How you going to develop him, like Coach Rob said. How you going to develop that kid, not just for when he gets there. What do you see him past that? You know, you got to sell him on something. Okay, we didn't have a facility. So what are you going to sell him on? You're going to get better. We're going to be able to get in the gym, like Coach Rob said. And Alcorn, we're in the middle of nowhere. So the best thing we could do is get in the gym every day. And what was I? I was in the gym every day at 7 a.m. when anybody wanted to get there. And Tamarcio Wilson went from 4.9 points a game as a junior before we got there to 12.3 points a game as a senior, making all sweat. There's a difference in when you get in the gym and work. And so it goes back to what Coach Rob said. You just got to work. Then you got to believe in family. Like it says it on my chest. We believe it at Holy Innocence, but you got to believe in family. And that's the biggest part of what an HBCU brings is family. Like not just family when you're there, but family when you go away. Once you become an alumni of an HBCU, I bet you probably have a hard time finding a job if you really want to find it in the right field. How do
you tell kids who have potential professional aspirations or most likely will play professional that going to HBCU?
Alcorn State has an NBA player, Larry Smith. A lot of these, Jackson State has an NBA player, and Lindsey Hunter.
Norfolk State has one.
Norfolk State, like you gotta know your stuff. Tennessee State, Penny Collins told me the other day, Tennessee State has more pros in the NBA, produce more pros in the NBA than Georgia Southern.
They should offer some of these kids young.
Yes,
as freshmen and sophomores.
That goes back to what you talked. That goes back to Bryce. I offer kids young.
Mm-hmm.
I offer them. If I saw a ninth or 10th grader, I will offer that kid. If he sees that's my first offer, and you keep talking to him, then they're gonna know you there.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. Hey man, we preach to the choir. I ain't got nothing but a whole bunch of amens for all of that because that's the stuff that we've been screaming for a long time.
Man, Tori, that's big right there. I didn't even know that. And me and you talk all the time. You pay for the coaches of the school you went to attend the GHSA team camp, the Big South and Hoops game. That's huge, bro.
Gotta be here. Hey, coaches, if you're watching right now, man, we not downing you. This passion is because of how bad we want to help you.
It's still early though. It's early.
Plug in the SUV TV. Plug in the SUV TV, man. Watch them games, bro. Like, get in touch with us. Twitter's free. IG is free. Slide in Bryce DMs. He will answer eventually.
I'm gonna answer it if it's a coach. It's
early.
It's very early, especially with what's going on, Rob. It's real early.
The game is early. How long is basketball? 120 years?
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? college is going to be here for a long time, right?
Yep.
At some point, that might be the standard. And it might, so
For
the
sure.
game is going to be going on as long as life is going to be here. So it might not be this generation, but eventually if somebody makes it and kind of blazes that path and the coaching is up and the program is up and those type of teams are making a run, that's where it was with Texas Western. They were, and they went to the national championship. And that was in the 50s. So moving forward, those programs – I like the CIAA. I think they do a good job.
Oh man,
really selling that league. I almost think I would rather go CIAA a lot of times than some of the other programs that are even Division I, just because the competition is there. You know how many Division II teams beat Division I teams early on in the year, and you don't hear about it. Those teams compete, and when you're on that floor, it's a different kind of game. It's almost like, the physicality is like a JUCO game, or the game is just a little bit different. So the D1s, D2s can chip a D1 team if they're coming in thinking that it's just going to go their way just because they're D1. These kids are hungry. It's just as a matter of playing for a coach that believes that you're supposed to win that game, because the talent, we just saw 5-6 kids, Roman Son and Nash Kelly and all those guys without offers right now. Get those kids, lock them in, and have them go play against these other teams.
Kendall's dad texted me while we're talking and said Kendall will go to an HBCU. They just don't know who he is.
It is.
I know who he is.
As we're saying.
I stood right next to Prince Davies and asked him that would he go to a HBCU? You're talking about a state champion at the highest level, and he said, I will go to a HBCU. I believe the same for Nash Kelly. Like, we're talking about kids that will go.
Man, you give somebody Nash Kelly, you give me Nash Kelly, and you get time with him.
Man, my former point guard at the Lou, Lamont Smith is at a HBCU. So you just give it a shot, coaches. Don't downplay them. And an HBCU coach, if you walk in the gym, walk in there like you Coach Cal, man. Try to get the best. Try to get the best kids.
And watch last week's show too, because not only have we highlighted guards last week, we had 3 or 4 kids that were 6'6" and above. That, I mean, why couldn't HBCU go get Raymond Baca? And we talking about a high academic kid, 3.9 GPA with a 1080 SAT score. You can go get him right now at 6'7".
6'7".
You can go get that Coach Boyle's kid, 6'7". They had multiple 20 rebound games at Brookwood. That's a kid that's still out there that you can go get. It ain't just guards either. Guys like HBCUs, it's guys that
Devin Evans and Southwest Mississippi will go to a JUCO.
100%.
Would have went to one straight out of high school had they done their work.
They offered. And
no, they offered. They offered. The assistant wanted them.
Trent Gordon.
Yep.
Can play. Like, it's guys out there. I just say that we talk about HBCUs, and that's another thing that people think, we got something against it. Nope. We passionate. We love you guys.
I need more help to win the conference every year.
Here's what I'll say. HBCU head coach or assistant coach, you want to come on the show? Let's talk. Let's get it. Let's go.
Please
let's go. And go back to that comment. I said something about you need forwards to compete. There are forwards out there that can compete. I just listened to Claude Purdue talk about Tulane and how his 4 men are usually 6'5", 6'6". Those are the same kind of 4 men that can go play in the SWAC, MEAC, CIAA, SIAC. Like,
Georgia State's leading rebounder was 6'4".
Yeah, come on now.
Can make it happen, man.
And he played the 4.
Yeah.
4, but he was really a combo guard. If that's a lot, but if it makes sense, like.
Yeah, and this wasn't something we planned. We didn't plan to talk about HBCU. We got a prep and post grad coach on the show. We did not plan to talk about HBCU.
Let's talk hoops, man. I want to see where everybody's head is at. Let's talk hoops. Let's talk.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. On my side, I want to, just to represent our side, just each class, let's go down some classes as far as the 2022s. You said it earlier, excuse my language, to pop my shit. on here. So
Yeah, get it
that's
off,
where I'm
dog.
at now. That's
it
where I'm at
off.
now. I'm just saying, look, 20. I got a concept and it's kind of going around, but where's the competition at? I'm hearing a lot. 2022, who's the best point guard in 2022 class? We think it's Bruce for TSF. 23, who's the best guard in the class? Who's the best in 21? Who's the best in 20? We hear all this competition. Who's the best 2020 point guard? Was it Sharif, Devion, Dewan Odom? Who's the best? Let's compete. Let's compete. Have these dudes bump, play one-on-ones. Have a broadcast there to watch these guys compete against each other. I want to see.
If anybody was on, then I've been up real late, quarantine, like 3 o'clock in the morning. If anybody was on Quinn Cook's IG last night, I don't know if you were on it, y'all were on it. They were calling out every single dude from the area and like, let's get in the gym, let's play one-on-one.
Let's play. I was with Quinn today.
So you probably know what I'm talking about. You probably know.
Yeah.
Quinn on the line with whoever, let's play one-on-one. And that's the same thing these dudes need to do. Like, they need to get in the gym, man. We talked about that last Mondre. Like, get in the gym.
I want Love of the Game to sponsor it. I want SUV TV to broadcast it. We want to put it on the platform. We want 16 of the best guys that we got in the state. As soon as this stay-at-home order is over, well, maybe not as soon as it's over, but let's say as soon as it's safe, let's show them one-on-one.
We got the best, not just in the city. We can compete against any city in the country.
I agree.
For sure.
Every weight class. We got high school kids. We got, from the pro level, we might not. Jaylen Brown, he can compete as a wing. Lou Will can compete. High school, college level. Brandon Boston can compete. There's nobody who's going to beat Edwards. He can compete. So anybody these other cities have as their top guy, we have somebody to match that. And for high school, around the country, we can get guys to come to Atlanta and bump. So if that's what the culture is going towards, let's get ahead of that and establish that competition. Because one thing I'll say, and I can't be here for too much longer, so pardon me for my spiel, but one thing I'll say is just coming up, the AAU culture was totally different. The Celtics, the Stars, Smyrna, all them teams played against each other. You didn't know you would. Now Nike's got one circuit, Adidas got one circuit, Under Armour's got one circuit. You play the same team, so you could be two top 10 guards and you never play against each other. You got to have a situation where if nobody else knows, at least in the city, they know who the top dog is. And if it's two people that you think is the top dog, guys got to compete against each other just to show that. I think competition has to come back. You can't hide from that, and that's what separates. I like what Wheeler did this year. They were ready to compete against anybody. Nobody really had them picked going into it, but when you roll the ball out, competition is always going to prevail. Let's get some of these top guards, the unsigned kids versus some of the signed ones. Let's have them play, give them a platform, and then let these coaches take a look at it on a podcast and recruit that way, because sometimes they're not able to showcase on the floor what they can really do, and there's other levels to the game. People just aren't being seen. They're being judged off of one good game or one bad game and getting offers and scholarships. Put them in a situation where you can really see what somebody can do. Try it out. Why not?
Yes.
We talking about competition now. It's some additional competition here in the Georgia area from the prep and post grad route, and y'all had a lot of dudes saying y'all name. I'll just say this: I heard a lot of people saying y'all name at the beginning of the season, and they had us saying y'all name on the show early on in the year. I didn't hear so many people saying y'all name toward the end of the year. Y'all, let's. I want to hear about it from the horse's mouth. let's talk about it. I'm gonna get out the way. Let's talk about it.
If we everybody's big game, who we getting up against? Who we preparing for? So we go out the country. We play across the country. We played the number 1 through 8 teams in the country. The guy, we don't. Anybody who wants to play, they understand it's a level of consistency in the prep game too. We're gonna be prepared. If other guys bring their team and they have a good team, there's so many good players out here. Show us, but don't try to make a name off what we're doing, because we're not trying to compete local. We're trying to compete nationally. So, if you bring in that same type of energy, then we'll play and be in front of coaches and do it that way.
You guys.
I love that. Rob said we.
I don't remember. Did you guys beat Middle Georgia, or what happened with that? Y'all split something like that, right?
This year?
Yeah. Such
we
a
beat
big-
them three times, 3-0. And I love Trip. That's my man. But we
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
them
yeah.
3-0 this year. So,
What about did y'all play core 4?
we were set up to play it. It didn't go through. So, sometimes stuff happens, I guess, right?
And now Core 4 at one time said y'all was ducking. Was y'all ducking the smoke from Core 4? I gotta ask.
Like I said, we had it set up. We were supposed to play this year. We had them in our tournament. They were on one side of the. I watched the show. I got so many texts. Okay, so let's set it up. They were on one side of the bracket. We were on another side of the bracket. We made it to the championship. They didn't make it to the championship. We never played. Next tournament, it just didn't happen. Lamar Kareem, that's my man. It's nothing personal against them dudes, but it's competition. I'm all right with that. Nobody here. Look, we'll play against anybody, and I wish we could play regular GHSA teams. That goes for everybody. We can bump any type of way, scrimmages, anything like that. I trust who we have in our program. These kids aren't afraid to compete, win or lose. If they lose, then it's on to the next. If we win, then it's on to the next. It's not that heavy, but we compete. Huff has seen us play. Yeah. I watch a lot of basketball. Look, the game is a little bit different. So, we'll play, but we compete against these national teams, these world teams. Went to Spain 2 years in a row, won the Nike Global Jam. Like we're playing academies from Europe and these other top teams that would come over here and really show we've also gone out there and got kicked before. We went to Czech Republic. We didn't go with we didn't have our full team. But the competition, the teams we play are so good. If you don't bring your A game, it's going to expose you. So we just want to kind of set that standard here. And whoever we play against, we're not afraid of that. So I want to hear it. I want to hear.
Well, I got one for you, Rob. Obviously, you got. I like your bigs that you got in your program. Yep. The middle Georgia big, Josh. I can't think of his last name. How does he stack up versus your big? Or what do you think?
That's a big boy.
I love.
Talked about him. Yeah.
I think he's a really good kid, prospect, respectful. I call coaches to help him out. If I've called HBCs or any type of coach, guys that tell me they need a big, I'll call on Tripp's behalf for the kid, especially if he vouches for him. Great kid, but you can't even put him in the same sentence.
I know that.
Soto, he's the best in the country at his position. Until somebody shows me that they, at 17 years old with that type of skill set, it's just a different level. So it's never a knock or offense to nobody else, but it's levels to how that goes. And Kai's probably the best one, the best big out. I like him. I don't know Walker Kessler and those guys. I think you show me who's better than him.
I can't see. It's too much smoke. I can't see.
Absolutely. And no offense against Walker, not like that. Kai's different.
I love this matchup because Walker Kessler is next level.
Give us that. Yeah.
Different.
You talk about next level, Rob. It's next level when you coaching dudes like that too. And I don't think a lot of dudes understand that. How you got to be on top of your game and being able to push them so they can continually get better as you coach them.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the players always. So you're only going to be as good as the roster that you have. You can do a great coaching job. If you just can't compete, you can't. So they make it easier because they have the talent, but it makes me get on my game to try to put them in positions just to maximize. And then it's not just one or two players. I want to get 10 players a look every game, in segments and stuff that translates. It might not be everybody's best game, but that film is good for somebody, So just putting guys in situations where they can show what they can do in a college type segment. I mean, our best player doesn't play more than 26, 27 minutes. That's just, it's not realistic at the next level. So we're not going to put that out there for them to, to simulate something that they're not going to see at the next level. So that's the biggest thing, is just getting these dudes prepared and putting them in the situations on the floor that makes sense and translate to that college level.
So, Coach, I got to there was a kid that we talked about off air that I can't let you off here without talking about on air. When we talk about being a competitor. Tell us about Chin Has Ma. Am I pronouncing his name correctly? I'm probably butchering that name, man.
Chin Ha Ma. Yeah, Chin is
okay.
Chin is from Taiwan, so he's obviously English is a secondary language, but he's one of the best players in his country from from being from Taiwan. A lot of natural games, 6'7". He's got the skill set, the talent. Just making that adjustment from playing in Taiwan and having a role where he's the best player and able to shoot any shot he wants to, and everything kind of runs through him, to playing a role that a college is going to ask of him at 6'7" to fill. He can shoot, he's got a good motor, he defends his position, he rebounds. So having him be confident in that role, perform with other good players around him, and then get his film out. So he's set to come back next year. I think he's got some Division I looks right now. If he does what he needs to do in games, I think he'll be fine. But he's a good player.
Y'all have the other kid back too, the Sprayberry kid, right?
Jalen Galloway.
Jalen Galloway, yeah.
Yep. So Jalen will
really
be back.
Good, really good player.
I think he's one of the best in his class. He just will be a better 21-year-old than he is a 17-year-old. But he's a kid that could hit the switch and be a draft pick. One day his pops is 6'8", 6'9", his brother's 6'10". He's just kind of tight. His mother's a referee. He knows the game. Is around people that are pushing him to that level. So when it clicks for him, he'll be really, really good too because he knows the game.
So tell us this. We argued about this on the show too, and this is something that we just trying to find a hard way to understand. Like with the Jalen Galloway kid, is it more exposure, less exposure, or equal exposure, whether he's getting off GHSA or going to TSF?
He can only pick one spot, right? One college. So it's about how ready he is when he gets there. And for his game, he's got to do – and then when he finishes college, he wants to become a pro. So it's about putting him in certain actions that he's going to see as a pro and have him practicing throughout those now, competing, 24-second shot clock, him being a two-guard, being able to catch and shoot, defend. The exposure is going to be there either way as long as he's a good player, but you can have exposure playing a game that's not going to translate, or you can have exposure playing in a role in a game that's definitely going to translate to the next level. And then when you go to that level, you're used to playing with and against other good players and competing every day in practice. I think that was the biggest thing for him at Sprayberry. He was their best player. With us, he's one of our best players, but he also has guys like Ma and Donovan and DJ, guys that are going to push him and compete every day in practice. And, it's just a matter of that process. What do you want to look like? What's the end goal? What do you want to look like at 22, 23, and then work backwards? What's going to be the best route? To me, I think everybody who is serious about becoming a pro, no matter if you're a top player, you don't used to have to go to Oak Hill and to those schools. You don't necessarily have to go there anymore. If the goal is different, guys are signing 4 years, 135 million, 140 million. Like, those are real contracts now. So what's going to put you in the best position or situation to have a chance at a contract like that? You have to be in it. If it was if a science job offered you that type of money, you would go to a science school. If it was, a computer job that offers you would be in a computer class, a computer school. So basketball is the same thing, because on the other side, the business has so much potential. You want to put yourself in a position to maximize your skill set and do it around the clock. And I just think our route provides dudes with that kind of that stage and that platform to do that.
So what do your guys do in the summer? Like, while we hear a lot about TSF 2022 and 2023, but I don't hear so much about any other TSF teams. What are your kids doing in the summer? Are they playing AAU for other teams? Are they playing with y'all for AAU? What's happening with those?
It depends. So we have our 22 and 23. We got kids from different high schools, Milton, and kids from Wheeler. I think Bruce is #1 2022 point guard. He's with us. Cannon Carlisle's #1 2023 shooting guard. Isaiah Collier, #1 2023 point guard. Chauncey Wiggins, #1 2022 forward. These guys play for different high schools, but play with us AAU. So even though their high school is building, is where they do their high school ball at, they're still part of our umbrella and our family in a sense. So the same way that they can come back to us, I got guys. If our
do the
point
prep
guard
kids play Hey, you felt
Sometimes.
like
Yeah,
Galloway?
sometimes.
Where's he at in the summer?
He was playing with Georgia Stars, EYBL. Last year he was with Game Elite. So if that's the best situation for him in the summer, then I want to send him there to play and get that exposure. That might be his best fit. He has the option to play for a TSF team, but it's we're in the same, but it's still separate in the sense that they don't have to if the situation doesn't fit what they need or what they're looking for. You know what I mean?
Got you. The last question I had, and this may sound stupid, but I promise you, I just don't know the process. What is the difference, or what are the differences between prep and post grad?
So post grad is the 5th year, so you just reclass on the back end. Prep, you have an option to reclass on the front end. So let's say a kid is a 2022, and he comes prep, and now is going to reclass to 2023. Reclass is it can be in the classroom, but it can also just be athletically. So now you have a chance to do your 5th year. And now you see guys classing back to class back up. So you can graduate high school as a 2022 and already know that you're going to do a post-grad year. So you tell coaches the whole time as they're recruiting you that you're 2023 because you have that option. Now it puts it in your hands. If they say, well, shoot, we like you in 2022, you can take that route if you want to, class back up, and go straight ahead to college, or say, that offer is cool, but I want to develop my game, or I might have graduated at 17 and want to get a year older. So I'm more on the same playing field as my competition. Sometimes it's grades, sometimes it's test score, whatever it is, it just gives you that gap year of the development, and you use it however you need to. But each situation is different. So the difference, I guess, with scheduling wise, our prep kids, we play a post-grad schedule because I have post-grad kids mixed in with my prep team. So last year I probably had 5 post-grad kids and 7 prep kids. So those 7 will return, and those 5 that are moving on, we can fill it in with another 5, whether they be post-grad or high school or whatever the case is, and it kind of keeps it rolling.
How does all that work academically?
So different ways. Guys take online classes. They'll they can take classes through their schools. There's different ways they can do it academically. And then we have our own standard where we keep their progress monitored tight, and certain, if you miss an assignment, you might not be able to practice. If you have to miss a practice to go take a test, we're in tune with that too. But all of our guys take, online classes through Apex, through one of our academies, and we kind of just, do that so we're considered a scholastic team. And since everybody is in the same class, we're able to have coaches come to our gym and watch our guys practice and play and things of that sort. So there's different ways around it, but everybody's situation is different. Just depends on what you need.
Got you. Hey, man, that's all I had.
All right. Well,
it's helpful for me, man. It's helpful for me, man. Hey, man. Yep. I mean, now that we're introduced, man, you might get more questions from me, but this is a great start, man, to understand, because like I said, there's so many kids out there, especially now, that are considering prep. Because of everything going on. So, man, definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming on the show, man. Appreciate you spending the time with us and dealing with us out here, man. So Sunday, you getting 2 shows. You're getting Coach Stroud. Sunday, we're going 5 o'clock with Coach Stroud.
Head coach of Druid Hills. Lineage of basketball in his family, from Cleveland Stroud to Antron Stroud. We're going to talk about it.
We getting after it. Sunday at 5 o'clock. And then don't forget, Sunday immediately following, what are they calling it? The last ride? The last dance?
Come on, Andre. Come on, Andre.
I just know I get to see MJ, bro. Like, I've been calling it the MJ show. I have no idea what the title is. But immediately following the last dance, as soon as the credits start rolling, we are firing up these microphones and we'll be on for our reaction show. You guys will get to talk about the Last Dance from us. I might actually pull somebody from the audience onto the show. Maybe. It depends on what your comments are, what your questions are. If you're
Who you gonna
interacting,
pull? Tori?
if somebody is interacting really well with us and asking great
Yeah.
questions, then I might pull somebody in, man. I just realized we have the ability to do it, and why not interact with our listeners in that way? So we may, but you'll never know if you're not watching and you're not interacting. You'll never know. But that's our show, man.
Now,
Yeah,
I gotta shout out the MCA of Georgia and what we got coming up this week, man.
Tell us. Tell us.
Come on now. All right.
I'm on Saturday. I'm on Corey Black joint.
So obviously Saturday, Corey Black's networking event, 2 p.m. Reach out to him on Twitter so you can get on that Zoom. But Wednesday, we have our virtual roundtable of head coaches. So we're looking at Josh Passman of Georgia Tech and Murray Garvin of South Carolina State. So we got our HBCU. So come listen to them on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have our next up series of assistant coaches. So we've got Jacob Amerman of UCF. He's a video coordinator for them. So he's going to break down how to watch game film effectively for your players. So that's going to be real big. And then we've got DeAntoine Cat Beasley, graduate of South Cobb, who's the assistant coach of Dayton University, the women's program, who's going to talk about transition offense. And we may have a little something special for you on one of those days. And last but not least, I'm just going to leave this in your ear. Mondre, we cannot talk about this. Did y'all see what Charles Oakley said? Patrick Ewing and put him on his back?
Yes. I saw that, and I can't wait to talk about it on Sunday. Yeah.
Let's go.
I saw that. I don't want no smoke with Charles Oakley, though.
No, none.
Hey, man, that's our show. I love you guys. Y'all rolled with us for almost 2.5 hours, man. This is feeling real nostalgic, man. We was getting there.
We love you, HBCUs. Let's get it. Let's work.
Love you, HBCUs, man. Love y'all.
Appreciate you, Rob.
Man. Yep. I appreciate all the prep schools that have reached out, had conversations with me, help educate me, especially in Atlanta. So shout out to Core Force, shout out to Middle Georgia Prep, shout out to TSF, shout out to everybody in GHSA. Love y'all, man. Sunday night, 5 o'clock. Holler at us. We out.